button. Tony also knows boxing. We're tuning into the fight tonight. It starts at 8 p.m. We're talking about the rematch between Tevin Farmer versus William Zepeda. Anyone who saw the first fight, who do you think won the fight? Do you think the fight was accurately scored? 95, 90, I think it was 95, 94. That's what they scored it in the first fight. And I watched the fight and I got a slightly different result. The result that I gave was for William Zepeda, of course. I gave him the fight by 96-94. I think the scorecards weren't too far fetched from what happened in the ring. I saw, I feel like the knockdown really made a difference in making the fight close, but it wasn't. I didn't have it as close as they had it for, like, as far as the verdict for the decision for the fight. I had the fight 96-94. I had Zepeda winning by 2 points, and I feel that the fight was it was a justifiable decision. I don't think it was a controversial decision, but I could understand why some people would feel it was controversial based on a knockdown. Well, William Zepeda got hit with a left hook by Tevin Farmer, and I believe that Tevin Farmer, he's a decent boxer. He has skills, but he doesn't throw a lot of combinations. And if he would have threw more combinations, and he would have fought somebody like if he would have fought like Shakur Stevenson, then that's a different story. I think William Zepeda is definitely not ready for a Shakur Stevenson type of fight. I think that he throws a lot of combinations and he has a lot of stamina, and I'm impressed with the volume of his punches of William Zepeda. I think that he still needs improvement. He doesn't move his head, and I feel like he's going to struggle with somebody that could capitalize on that, with somebody that has more skills. Somebody like, well, anybody really. It could be Tank Davis. He could struggle. He's going to struggle with Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson. I don't think that Devin Haney will give him problems. I think that it'll be an interesting matchup, but I believe that Devin Haney, he doesn't have the chin, and I feel that a fight like that with Devin Haney, he might struggle a little bit if Devin Haney could take his punch. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in to my channel. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. Subscribe to my channel. Yeah, so I believe that this fight right here in the rematch, this is gonna, I guess, solidify if he's ready. If he's ready for the top elite fighters, depending on how he looks. If he knocks out Tevin Farmer in the rematch, he's gonna make a big statement. William Zepeda, he's gonna make a huge statement if he knocks him out. But if he wins by unanimous decision, depending on how he looks, I just feel like he has a 31-0 with 27 KOs, William Zepeda, and if he is as advertised, he will actually dominate him in a way where he gets rid of him. Yeah. I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for subscribing to Tony Also Knows Boxing. Subscribe to my channel. If he actually wins by a knockout, I am going to be looking forward to seeing him fight more often, because he's going to show that he actually learned from the previous fight, which was a close fight due to the knockdown, where Tevin Farmer knocked down William Zepeda in the 4th round with a left hook. Knocked him down. He doesn't move his head. So there's no special effects with William Zepeda. He's a good talent, but I don't see him lasting if they don't carefully match him with the right opponents. I feel like they're going to milk his name and mention all the big name elite fighters just to get him in the forefront, where he gets more views, he gets more people to follow him, and more people to believe that he's actually going to beat Shakur Stevenson or Tank Davis, or even the guy that recently fought Tank Davis, So the one that I think that should have won the fight in the last fight, Roach. Lamont Roach. Even with that guy, he'll struggle. I feel like they have a lot of skills. A lot of the boxers in that weight class, 135-pound division, there's a lot of talent there, and there's a lot of skillful, powerful fighters as well. So I feel like he has his hands full in that weight division. But I feel that he can make a good account of himself. Depending on how he looks in this rematch with Tevin Farmer, I'm gonna gauge more or less where I think he's at. Because right now, I'm not really sold on him yet. I'm not really sold on him on this guy, William Zepeda. He has the same trainer that Subriel Matias has. I see him in the corner giving him instruction. Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. Subscribe to my channel. Click the like button. Don't be afraid to subscribe if you want the real unadulterated truth from Tony also. The best content that you're going to receive in a minute. I just want to say, from what I read about Turki Al-Sheikh, I was looking forward to seeing a fight with David Benavidez versus Dimitri Bivol. But he's no longer interested in making that matchup. He changed his mind. He doesn't want to make the David Benavidez Dimitri Bivol fight. That would have been a good fight because then it would have actually almost forced Canelo to actually finally face David Benavidez, which he's been avoiding him for 3 years. Because you know David Benavidez was ranked number 3. He was ranked number 1 for 3 years. But for Canelo, when he was in the same weight class as Canelo, but Canelo refused to fight him. And I know a lot of stuff was done, basically was partially David Benavidez' fault, but not completely. Because I feel like David Benavidez made a good account of himself. He's proven what he's made of. He's even fought a guy, the Cuban guy, that Canelo didn't even want to fight him either. And he recently beat him. He actually made a good account of himself with Caleb Plant, and he's actually been very impressive. And I feel that he fought even Demetrius Andrade, which Canelo refused to fight him as well. So I feel like despite the weight class where they fought, I still feel like the talent, it was there with Demetrius Andrade versus David Benavidez. So I feel like Canelo could have fought all those fighters that David Benavidez chose to fight, but he refused to because he figured that they had too much boxing ability, and he struggles with that, especially now, because he did good with Caleb Plant though. Don't get it twisted. Like Canelo did good with Caleb Plant, but Caleb Plant has some holes in his games, and I feel like Canelo took advantage of it. But in this rematch, I want to see how William Zepeda looks, and if he's very impressive and he wins by knockout, then I'm gonna have a better gauge on him on where he's at talent-wise with the current 135 weight class division with all the current champions. But I feel right now with David Benavidez not getting an opportunity with Canelo, I think it's a shame. Canelo was interviewed recently, and they asked him, why do you think that why haven't you fought somebody like David Benavidez? Is it what caused you to actually not want to fight him? Not in those words, and he basically said, I don't know how to answer that question, but I think he's very disrespectful, and he not only disrespectful to me, he think he's Superman, and he's also disrespectful to everyone. So, since when a fighter has to be respectful to get a fight? Like, back in the days, in the 90s and the 80s, if you was disrespectful, that would be more of a reason to actually make a fight with that person, because they don't like the fact that they talk so much, and they feel like, okay, get in the ring and let's prove what you're made of. I'm going to knock you off for being a big mouth. So, I feel like, why does somebody have to kiss your ass to be deserving of a fight with you, Canelo? Canelo, who do you think you are? You're arrogant. You're an arrogant smuck. You need to actually humble yourself and make the fight for the fans. The fans want to see David Benavidez versus Canelo, but you want to fight Crawford. Crawford, I believe Crawford is very, very talented, but I feel Canelo's playing this game where he figures, okay, Crawford is a very, very, very popular fighter. He's considered number 1 pound for pound. But Canelo draws more people to his fights. He actually he sells more. He's a ticket seller. But he feels if he beats a Crawford, it's less risky because Crawford is coming up from 3 weight classes, from 147 all the way to 168. 168. That's why they have weight classes for a reason. So Canelo could most likely overpower him because he's actually the physically bigger man. But since we're gonna look at the intangibles, Crawford has more abilities than Canelo, but the weight might be too much. Saludos, mi hermanito Coqui. Boricua Power, you know how we do it. Aquí, subscribe to the channel. Hablando de la pelea de William Zepeda, que va a pelear con Tevin Farmer en la revancha, que en la pelea, la primera pelea, yo le di la pelea a William Zepeda por 95, 96, 94. Le di 2 rounds. Pero creo que el knockdown hizo la diferencia. Sí, Alviso Campos ahí atrás. Yes, Alviso Campos right there in the back. Chequea la música mía. Tengo un álbum nuevo que se llama Mi Patria y la canción Mi Patria ya está disponible en todas plataformas y todas redes sociales de Ed Salsa y producida por Redmond Music. El álbum va a tener 10 canciones de bomba y plena y va a hablar de lo que está sucediendo en la isla, pero voy a cantar en 7 canciones, bomba plena, música típica de la isla, y rapeo en 3 canciones y canto en el coro. Pero la mayoría del álbum va a ser yo cantando, hablando de lo que está sucediendo en la isla. So, chequea el contenido mío de boxeo. I think Zepeda, okay, let me read the comments. I had to say it in Spanish because I got my Boricua and Latino people like tuning in. Salute to the Don Pedro Alviso Campos. Yes, I think, Coqui, gracias por el comentario. I think Zepeda will do the rematch, like how Matias rematched Ananyan. I think Panda J Nahal downloaded Farmer's tricks. Yep, I agree. I think that they studied him and they're doing a better job in this rematch. But I just want to see how good he does in this rematch because I'm not really sold on William Zepeda. I think he's talented and he throws a lot of combinations. He throws a lot of combinations. I think like 1,000 punches in the whole fight. And I feel that he doesn't have defense. He needs to work on bobbing and weaving. And I don't know if he naturally can do that because not all boxers know how to correct those mistakes. So those are things that he needs to work on if he can actually work on it. But if he can't work on it, he's going to be in trouble with the elite fighters that are out there now with Tank Davis, Lamont Roach, Shakur Stevenson. There's a lot of talent up there, and it's a very high risk fight. I think he's going to be a player in the division, but I don't know how good he's going to be. I have to see this fight first, like the rematch, and then I'm going to see where I could gauge the rest of his career or where he's at right now, how much he's learned and how much he's improved. If I could determine that he's improved enough to go to the next level, I'm going to determine that in this fight tonight. So if he doesn't win by knockout and it's another close fight, I feel like that he's just one-dimensional. Do you think? Let me read that. Coqui, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning into my channel. Do you think Cuevas has a chance today against Brian Norman? I like Brian Norman, man. Brian Norman is a great prospect, and he has a lot of power. I don't know too much about Cuevas. I would have to look at his fights. What's his first name? I might have to look him up. But I don't know, like, what's his record? Let me know his record. But I have to do an assessment based on what I see, like how his defense is, how his offense is, his boxing ability, if he uses angles. If Cuevas doesn't use angles and he doesn't fight Brian Norman with if he has power and he has boxing ability, he has a chance. But I don't really know too much about Cuevas. But I know Brian Norman is, from what I've seen of him so far, he looks like he's the truth, Brian Norman. And I heard he's half Puerto Rican. I'm not sure. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Is Brian Norman half Puerto Rican? There's a lot of people that be trolling online and be saying stuff that's not really accurate. They don't do their research. I like to do my research. But I like Brian Norman, regardless if he's half Puerto Rican or not. I support that guy. That guy's exciting for boxing. And the other fight, what's that guy? Keyshawn Davis. Oh, I love the way Keyshawn Davis fights. I'm excited about him. He's gonna fight De Los Santos. De Los Santos, if I'm not mistaken, I think the fight's gonna be June. I think it's June 7th. June 7th, I think they're supposed to make that fight with De Los Santos and Keyshawn Davis. That's an intriguing fight. Intriguing. I don't like the way Canelo's getting down. Canelo's like just acting like he deserves to fight whoever he wants, and he doesn't care about his fans. Canelo does not care about his fans. If Canelo cared about his fans, he will fight David Benavidez, because that is the fight to make right now. That is the fight to make. And if David Benavidez would get the chance to fight Bivol, he would make a huge statement and kind of force Canelo to fight him, because Canelo didn't even beat him. He lost. He got whooped by him. He got whooped by Bivol. Like Demetrius Bivol whooped Canelo. And then now, if Canelo was mentioning that he wanted to fight Bivol like not too long ago, but I don't know if he really wants that smoke, because I think Canelo's just fighting for, like a businessman. He's not fighting like a guy that wants to leave a legacy for the fans, the hardcore fans. The hardcore fans, they want him to fight the best, the very best, the most threatening fights right now. And the most threatening fight for Canelo right now is David Benavidez. They're making the Crawford fight because it's a big money fight as far as the name brand. But that's not what the fans really want. That's what Turkey Al-Sheikh wants. And that's what Canelo wants. Because Canelo listens to Turkey Al-Sheikh. Even though he has his own promotion and he does a lot of stuff that he does what he wants. But he's only taking the fights that he knows he's going to make a lot of money, that's less risky. That's why he fought Belanga Shalanga. Who the hell did Belanga ever beat? He said he don't deserve to fight me because he's not a champion in my weight class. Okay, so Belanga deserved to fight you? Canelo. So Belanga deserved to fight you? He's not a champion either. And Skull is not a champion either. The guy that you're fighting, your next fight. And Munguia, what did they ever do? Like, come on, like, really, Munguia, Skull, and Belanga do not deserve a title fight with you at all. But, or they don't deserve a title shot more than Benavidez. No way. Canelo is a politician. Yeah, he is. He's a hypocrite. What are politicians? Hypocrites, right? That's what they do. They lie. They're professional liars. Canelo is a professional liar. He's not a boxing purist that fights for the fans. He only fights to make the easiest fights possible so he can milk his name, because he don't have the reflexes or the stamina. He never had stamina, but now he really doesn't have stamina because he's older. I feel bad for the fans. Yeah, Koki, the fans need to get the best fights possible. This is the thing that I don't like about boxing. I love boxing, and I also hate it, because there's a love and hate relationship with boxing that I have. And, subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing, and people are going to call me a hater because I'm saying the truth. That's the problem. A lot of people nowadays, they call the truth hate, and they call lies the truth. People just got it all backwards right now. Artificial intelligence, artificial information. People are just artificial now. That's what they're promoting. That's the strategy, to make everything artificial. And then artificial intelligence, artificial fans. Nothing is authentic anymore. You gotta read, man. You gotta do your research, and you gotta know what's going on. I don't want to get too deep, but in my music I talk about it. Check out my music on all major platforms. Tony also. And thanks for tuning in, Coquito. I call you Coquito, my bad. Coqui, you reminded me of that drink. Even though I don't drink no more, but I always know how to make Coquito real good, and people always ask me for the recipe. I'm like, I ain't gonna give everybody my recipe. They'll probably Google it though. That's the thing. They can Google stuff, but Coquito is good with the family. Yeah, all right, man. I didn't want to butcher your name, but Coqui, thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. Who do you think? Who do you think is gonna win tonight between William Zepeda versus Tevin Farmer, the rematch? Subscribe. Click that like button. And subscribe. Tony, who do you want Matias to fight next? Yo, I want Matias to fight Teofimo next or Liam Paro. But I feel like the bigger money would be definitely Teofimo. But Teofimo Lopez don't want that smoke. You saw how he reacted. He was like gonna make $3 million for that fight, and he refused it. That was the most money he was gonna ever make in his whole career, even more than Lomachenko. He made less than Lomachenko fight, 1.2 million. Teo is a politician. Yep, shaking my head. I wish he didn't decline. Yeah, me too, man. The fans want some real boxing, and he tries to act like he's making boxing great again. You know, that's a code for a Donald Trump supporter. That's what he is. You know, he's a little sellout. Teofimo Lopez. I used to have so much respect and love for him when he first started, when he beat Lomachenko. Then when he lost to Kambosos, and he didn't rematch him, and then he started calling out people and not making the fight with Subriel Matias, and not looking good in his last 4 fights. I mean, I lost respect for him because I'm like, you're supposed to be more bigger than that. If you are supposedly the cash cow like you claim you are, then you wouldn't have to be doing all these shenanigans, and you would actually fight the best. And then the promoters would actually believe in you and put you with the best. But they wanted to protect you for a little while, and then now they're finally making you play. And like the way Arnold Barbosa said, in fighting somebody like him, because you know that Teofimo Lopez was avoiding Arnold Barbosa. I think Arnold Barbosa is gonna win this fight. Teofimo Lopez right now is suspect. It's open season for him to lose on Teofimo Lopez. He's suspect right now. He's not the Teofimo Lopez that beat Lomachenko. He's mentally damaged now. Ever since he got divorced, I don't want to knock a man down while he's going through that. But ever since he went through that, and ever since he lost to Kambosos, mentally, and he's not the same anymore. And boxing's a 90% mental. I got Barbosa upsetting Lopez by a unanimous decision. Yeah, that's a good verdict. That's a reasonable prediction. I believe that he either wins by unanimous decision, or he's not known as a knockout artist, but a lot of strange things have happened. Shakur Stevenson is not known for as a knockout artist, and he knocked out the last guy that he fought. So I feel like if Shakur Stevenson was to fight William Zepeda, Shakur Stevenson will embarrass William Zepeda. If he struggled with Tevin Farmer, even though I had him winning most of the rounds, but it was a close fight, and he got hit. He don't have no head movement, and he got hit by Tevin Farmer. So that says a lot. Like what would happen if he fought Shakur Stevenson? If William Zepeda fought Shakur Stevenson could possibly knock him out, or knock him down and dominate him by unanimous decision. I mean, you never know. He might be able to knock him out, even though he don't have a lot of power, but he can probably hurt him with the speed, because he's been able to do that with his last opponent, Shakur Stevenson. He won by stoppage, by knockout. So I wouldn't rule that out if Zepeda doesn't look good in this fight tonight, and he doesn't dominate in a knockout fashion. If he wins by unanimous decision and he knocks him down a couple of times, I'll be impressed. But I still feel like if he knocks him out, if William Zepeda knocks out Tevin Farmer, then he's making a real huge statement, and we're going to see exactly the potential that he really has based on that. Because he has to show more than what he showed in his last fight with Tevin Farmer. Like, Tevin Farmer's a former champion, yes. And I forgot to mention my opinion, Joseph. Oh, let me read the other comment, Joseph, before. All right, Coqui. Lopez had to change his training camp because Eddie Reynoso and I could barely see Canelo team kicked out Teofimo out of their camp. Yeah, I read about that. Yep. I mean, I think Teofimo Lopez is hard to deal with. Like, his personality he's all over the place. He's sloppy Joe. Like, he's not organized, and I think he's a little delusional. The stuff that he be saying, only he can believe it. If you believe whatever Teofimo Lopez says, all the lies that come out of his mouth, and you see the smirk on his face, and you believe it, you gullible and you're ignorant, and you need to learn a lot, and you need to study people's characteristics and their demeanors, the way they express themselves, and how they look, their facial expressions. It tells a lot if they're telling the truth or not, and you should be able to read people by now. And I could read that with my eyes closed. Teofimo Lopez, how much of a liar he is. Opinion, Thanks for tuning in, Koki. Thanks for tuning in. I almost called you my brother-in-law's name, Kuko. Nah, Koki. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Joseph S. Opinion on Edgar Berlanga. I think that he needs to prove something. He hasn't proven anything. Just because he went the distance with Canelo, that doesn't mean he's elite. He lost almost every round. I mean, okay, everybody expected him to get knocked out, but people had a high expectation of him getting knocked out. So then it makes him look good just because they had a high expectation of him not looking good or lasting the 12 rounds. People didn't see Berlanga lasting past 3 rounds with Canelo. That's why they made him look good just because he went the distance. But to me, I see beyond that. I feel like just because you went the distance with Canelo and you just cursed him out a couple of times and you got a couple of hits but you lost most of the rounds, that doesn't mean that you're legit. Okay, Canelo didn't knock him out, but since when did Canelo knock anybody out? When was the last time Canelo knocked anybody out? It's been like 3 years. 3 years. He has not knocked out Munguia, Berlanga. He hasn't. He knocked out Caleb Plant, but he hasn't been knocking people out. Like even the fight before that in Mexico, he didn't knock the guy out. He won by decision. So okay, Berlanga could take a punch, but is that impressive that he lost almost every round and he's getting credit because most people didn't think he would go 12 rounds? That's a stupid reason to get credit. I feel like Berlanga is not the face of Puerto Rican boxing. He fights out of Florida now, but he's from Brooklyn. So if he wins the belt's not going to Puerto Rico. The belt is going to go to the United States. So I feel like that's disingenuous to like represent. They're representing Puerto Ricans from. It's okay that you represent Puerto Ricans from the state, just as well as, but they're not representing the Puerto Ricans from the island the way they should be represented, because at least they live in the island and they're going to bring the championship to the island. But the boxing programs in Puerto Rico are scarce. There's a lot of boxing talent in Puerto Rico, but they're not promoting Puerto Rican boxing the way Mexicans promote Mexican boxing. You see, De La Hoya does it real good. Cotto sucks at promoting. He has no charisma. He has no charisma. He's terrible. There was a card that Cotto had, like I think a week ago. I didn't even know about it. Because he needs more charisma. He needs to put his promotion out there more. And, you know, Berlanga needs more hunger. I mean, it's not only that. He just needs more talent. Like, I mean, okay, he can box a little, but he needs to be able to like throw the jab, set it up better. He needs more work on his craft. Like he's looked better in his last, before the Canelo fight. He's looked better with the previous McCrory and the other opponents. He's looked better. But I feel like that what Berlanga lacks is yeah, he might need a little. You're right about that. You're right about that. So too much love, Tony. Much love, brother. I think we met before one time. I know you did some things with Elvis Qatari. Oh yeah, okay, you definitely know me. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was trying to like work on putting him in the video of Unite the Tribes. You know, Unite the Tribes is one of my big songs on all major platforms. But I also got Mi Patria as a salsa song. It's actually is doing good too. So just check that out. And my new album is coming. I got 2 new albums with it's called Mi Patria. I got the single out already, and I also got another album, The Essence of Who I Am, which I'm gonna have a famous freestyle artist featuring me. I don't want to say the name because me and the freestyle artist agreed that we're not gonna do it until he lays his vocals, and then we're gonna promote it together. But you're gonna know exactly who that artist is. A huge artist from a freestyle. I don't want to say too much, but he's gonna be featuring with me on my album, The Essence of Who I Am. The name of the single is going to be Never Give Up, dedicated to my mom, and it's a house song. So, you know, check that out. Love your lives, bro. You're a true Boricua. Thanks for repping us. Yeah, man, I appreciate you, man. Let me know what you think about my music. I'm pretty sure you heard my music. And you said you know about Elvis Qatari. You know, like that's a good brother right there. You know, salute to him. And enjoy the fight, brother. You too, my brother. You too. I appreciate you, man. Berlanga, what he needs is to stop showing off and all the bling bling and just get more serious and fight the best, man. Fight, okay, you can fight Gabe Rosado. Gabe Rosado will be a good fight. Gabe Rosado's a live dog. Even though, you know, he had a lot of losses in the beginning of his career, I respect Gabe Rosado. Like, Gabe Rosado, he's no slouch, you know. Willie Long Chef. Nice hair, brother. I appreciate. Thanks for subscribe to my channel. Tony Also Knows Boxing. Subscribe to my channel. Tony Also Knows Boxing. Don't be afraid to click that subscribe button, because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm getting really close. And I can't do it without you guys. You guys are the fuel to my fire. And, you know, I got to fuel my own fire too sometimes, because, you know, you're not always going to be there. But when you're there in my lives, you're the ones that make the impact on how far my channel's going to go. So I really respect and admire everybody that actually subscribes me and supports me. Like, I got nothing but love for you guys. And I'm going to give you the best unadulterated content. You know, I'm not going to hold back on the truth. And okay, the boxing voice. It's like, that's my Dominican brother right there. I got nothing against him. But he made a comment about saying, when Gabe Rosado was in the show, he said the best father and son duo in boxing was Devin Haney and Bill Haney. I was like, what? And then I was thinking about Tito Trinidad and Don Felix Trinidad, the father. That was the best father and son duo. And they've become pay-per-view stars, and they've accomplished more than Devin Haney. They actually sold out pay-per-view. And Gabe Rosado, as soon as I had that thought in my mind, like in the boxing voice, when the host of the show was interviewing Gabe Rosado, he said that Devin Haney and Bill Haney were the best father and son duo. That thought process in my mind was like, wait, hold on. Why he overlooked Trinidad and Don Felix Trinidad, father and son duo? That was the best father and son duo. And then Gabe Rosado said, how are you going to compare Devin Haney and Bill Haney as the best father and son duo? You forget about Felix Tito Trinidad. They actually sold out fights. Like when he was champion, when he fought Vargas, when he fought David Reed, and then so on and so on. And even with Whitaker, when he fought Whitaker, a lot of people watched that fight. So the best father and son duo was not Devin Haney and Bill Haney. The best father and son duo is Felix Tito Trinidad and Don Felix Sr. Trinidad. That's the best father and son duo. They went through everything together, and there was no disrespect between them. Like, I'm not saying, I think Bill Haney wants to take away the shine a lot and always wants to get all the spotlight, and, you know, and he should just let his son get more of the spotlight. But I feel like it's okay. They can share the spotlight if Devin Haney doesn't mind, you know. But I feel like Devin Haney and Bill Haney, they're not respectful, humble people. I don't think they're really humble like that. I feel like Bill Haney is less humble than Devin Haney. I think Devin Haney might be more humble, but he might have some arrogance. I don't think I think the father is really, Bill Haney's the real arrogant one. But with Felix Tito Trinidad and Don Felix Sr., they were not arrogant. They were very respectful, and they went far because even though they had Don King, the father managed Felix Tito Trinidad's career, and it was independent. So Felix Trinidad's career was managed by his father. First, it was managed by Yamil Chade, but then there was problems between Yamil Chade and Don King. So as soon as they got rid of Yamil Chade, then Felix Tito Trinidad was able to get the big fights, the $1 million fights that he wanted, like with Larry Bonds, and he's the first one to do that with somebody that's not known. With like Larry Bonds, he was the first one to actually make $1 million fights with a fighter that's not even known. He's the first one to do that. That's what Don Felix Sr. said, and I believe him. Joseph S. Okay, we need better matchups this year in boxing. So far, 2025 has been disappointing. Yep. Didn't care about the Davis versus Roach or care about Canelo versus Skull. I agree with you to a large degree. I also felt like that about the Roach and Davis fight. I really felt like, who the hell is Roach? That's just somebody that he was that he had a rivalry with from Washington D.C. in the amateur, but I didn't know about that. Like that's just stuff that he's doing to milk his name, and he actually thought he picked the cherry, but he made a mistake fighting Lamont Roach, because Lamont Roach beat him. I don't really think that Davis I only gave him one round, and I was being nice because usually I'm not nice. I won't give you no rounds. I think that you barely won one round. So, all right. So I feel like it hasn't been the boxing hasn't been the way to my liking, like the way it used to be in the 90s and the 80s. The best used to always fight the best, and I feel like Turki Al-Sheikh is just making big brand names versus other big brand names, but then fighters that are coming up in the ranks are not getting the opportunities because they're not with a big promoter. They have to be with a big promoter. They have to be baptized. If you're not baptized with a big promoter, then you're not gonna make it as big, and you have to like sell out. Like the way Subriel Matias had to sell out with Liam Paro. And he really won. He really was supposed to win that fight, but since he was with the lower, not unknown promotion, Eddie Hearns offered him his own pay-per-view if he takes a dive, and then that's what Subriel Matias insinuated without specifically saying it word for word verbatim that's what he did, but he gave me the clue that he sold out Subriel Matias because they use big boxing promotions like Eddie Hearns, Matchroom, Top Rank. They'll use the smaller scale promotions that are not known, like Fresh Productions from Puerto Rico, and exploit the Puerto Rican fighters to make the fighters from the big corporation promotion like Matchroom look good by beating a so-called Puerto Rican that's in a lower promotional banner. So that's what he did. He wanted to make the Hitchens versus Liam Paro fight so Hitchens could win the title because he knew that Hitchens didn't want to fight Subriel Matias. And then Liam Paro, every time he got hit by Subriel Matias, he got stunned. But Subriel Matias, he said, I don't know what happened that day. I left some of my combinations in the cabinet in the hotel. No, man, he sold out because they offered him his own pay-per-view and they offered him more money if he loses. That's the business of boxing politics. It sucks. I get so frustrated. Joseph S. Angel Garcia cracks me up. Yo, I met Angel Garcia, man. He's a good dude, man. Like, he says a lot of stuff that's funny, man. Like, I met him in the Puerto Rican parade, and I met Danny Garcia in the Puerto Rican parade. They hung out with us. Like, when I was the first one to spot Angel Garcia, when he first became champion, he was gonna fight Lucas Matisse. I was giving him credit, and I Danny Garcia, and Danny Garcia was like, you already know, because I was telling him what strategy he needs to use to beat Lucas Matisse, because all you gotta do is set him up and let him walk into his counters and just use his boxing ability, and then he said, you already know. And then the father, Angel Garcia, he treated me like if I was his son, and I was with my cousin Izzy. We're both boxing fans, so when he heard us talk about boxing, he was like, oh, you guys know the real shit. You guys know the real stuff. Like, I can tell by the way you guys talk, you know your boxing. I was like, Tony also knows boxing. That was way before I made my own channel, Tony also knows boxing. So my cousin didn't notice that he was on the float. I noticed it right away, and then when I shouted to them, they got off the float, and then they came to where we was at, where we was hanging out behind the barriers. We was hanging out the whole time, and we took a picture. Maybe one day I'll post it. That's classic information, classified information, but maybe one day I'll post it. He treated me with respect, man. Both of them, Danny Garcia and Angel Garcia. Angel Garcia was talking to me like he was feeling my vibe, and he just, I'm a real dude, like that's why. But yeah, Angel Garcia is funny, man. He's funny. Yeah, he does crack me up. He been saying some stuff like, okay, but that's him. It's him being who he is. But yeah, subscribe to my channel, Tony Also Knows Boxing. Subscribe to my channel, Tony Also Knows Boxing. I'm trying to get to my channel to 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate all the feedback that I'm getting from you guys. Willie Longshot, I appreciate you for adding me, for subscribing. Joseph S, I appreciate you for tuning in. Koki, Joseph S, all you guys, I got nothing but love and respect for you guys. And thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the fights tonight. And let everybody know about Tony Also Knows Boxing. I'm not playing around. I'm better than, what's his name? Punch Drunk. Punch Drunk, you need to stop acting punch drunk and and call the facts what it is. You know, I know sometimes he says the truth, but then sometimes he favors Teofimo Lopez, and he says stuff just because he's a fan of Teofimo Lopez. It's okay to be a fan of Teofimo Lopez, but call a spade a spade. Don't be too buddy-buddy. Sometimes you got to put their back against the wall and be real. Be real. You know? Don't jeopardize or compromise the truth. Say the truth regardless if it may cost you unsubscribe. If you don't like the truth, then unsubscribe. But if you love the truth, subscribe to my channel. Tony also knows boxing. Marlboro Projects, Brooklyn. That's where I come from. I'm Boricua. And yeah, check out my 2 new albums. It's coming real soon. Mi Patria. The single's out though. So that's just a lead up to what the album is going to sound like. It's going to have a lot of bomba and plena, typical music from Puerto Rico, talking about what's going on with the colonialism of the island. And Eliseo Molina is the senator, so now he's calling out the corruption, and people are seeing that that they're privatizing the beaches illegally without a permit, and they're building in areas where you're not supposed to build anything. And he's calling out the politicians and the mayors, and they're all in cahoots with the United States. They all work for the United States financial capital. So I don't want to get too deep, because then I'm gonna lose you guys. This is a boxing channel. All right, Tony, take it easy, brother. Hope you can stream the Canelo versus Skull fight. I'm going to stream it, but I don't want to get banned, man, because if I get one more strike on my channel, they're going to ban me, and I don't want that. I want to keep providing the best for you guys, and you guys want to continue seeing me over here, right? You don't want me to get banned, right? So I got to be careful how I can't really do that no more. I know I did that for a while, but I got some strikes on my channel, but thank God that that's going to be eradicated from my record. And I could, I just can't get one more. If I get one more, they're gonna take it down. But I appreciate you, Joseph S. I appreciate you for tuning in, and subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. Subscribe to my channel. Yeah, man. The boxing content creators that I'm feeling is Vic Season. He's dope. Offensive Stance. He's dope. I like the energy. I like the vibe that they give. And Vic Season did say in one of the lives that I did with him that I inspired him to start, not in those words, I'm paraphrasing it, that I kind of inspired him to start his own channel, because he followed me. I don't have as many followers as him, but my following is growing, and it's not the amount of followers that I have now, it's what I have inside that you haven't seen yet, because the internal is bigger than the external. Like, what's inside of you determines who you really are, whether it's bad or good. What's inside of me is spiritual. I'm not perfect. I fall short of the glory of God. But what's inside of me is spiritual and truth. And truth is something that you don't always see unless you feel it or you discern it because you gravitate to it. But the only way you're going to see the truth is by feeling it. And, those who have eyes have to see, and those who have ears have to listen. So the only way you're going to connect to that frequency of truth is by having those spiritual, godly frequencies inside of you. You'll be able to discern that. And not everybody could do that, because not a lot of people are honest with themselves. The more honest you are, the more you're able to see through the lies and the stuff that's around, this deception. You'll be able to surpass that, because you're able to be true to yourself. So you'll be able to surpass the lies and the deception that people try to hide. You'll be able to see that. So it's deep. It's deep and profound. But yeah, subscribe to my channel. Tony also knows boxing. Tony also knows boxing. I'm not like those content creators like Punch Drunk, that he just favors the fighters that are his favorite. But you gotta call a spade sometimes. You gotta question why they don't do certain things, why they don't take certain fights. Don't look at things blindly as a fan. Look at things with a you have to look at things like don't be subjective. You have to be what's the way to say it? You have to be fair. And if you look at the whole spectrum of everything, and you don't look at just whatever you like and whatever you agree with, sometimes you got to look at what you don't like and what you don't agree with to get the whole truth. You got to accept the truth, the whole puzzle, not just the puzzle that is comfortable for you. But yeah, subscribe to my channel. Tony also knows boxing. Subscribe to that channel. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate you guys. I believe if William Zepeda looks good tonight in a way where he knocks out his opponent, then I'm going to be giving him the respect that he deserves if he proves me wrong. But right now, I'm not sold on him. I feel like he needs a lot of work. He throws a lot of combinations. He has decent power, not one-punch power, but he doesn't move his head. He doesn't bob and weave, so I feel like he's beatable. So that's all I got for now, but I'm going to give you more. Just stay tuned. If you want more, tell everybody to explore Tony also, because that's the only way that you're going to endure with the truth and the foundation of what you need to receive, because the only way that you can surpass is if you believe God is real. Check it out. I just improvised that. But yeah, check out my music on Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, all major platforms. Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. Subscribe. Be a real nigga. Subscribe. Word up. Look at the background. Tony also knows boxing. Subscribe to that channel. I need to smile more in my videos, right? Sometimes I feel like, I'm too serious, but I'm focused. Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. Don't be afraid and click that